Hey, what's up everybody, Eric here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about what I have dubbed the David Zaslav effect. It is infecting all of the streaming services out there. It's got to Disney Plus, now it's heading over to Paramount Plus. Who knows who's next? I know some other ones have tried it a little bit, but not at the level that some of these larger platforms have tried it, and I blame David Zaslav for this, and we're going to get there in a second, but let's talk about what has happened. So Paramount Plus has decided that they are going to get rid of Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, Star Trek Prodigy, The Game, and Queen of the Universe canceled at Paramount Plus as streamer pulls down shows from service and takes content write-downs. I'm so tired of hearing that word at this point. We are losing so much content. We're losing so much content, and it's just really annoying. It says here, Paramount Plus has canceled a slew of its originals, including Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies, Star Trek Prodigy, which was one of my favorite shows. Queen of the Universe, a singing competition. I loved it. They dropped all the episodes at one time this week, which had a lot of people speculating they were going to end up canceling it. The Game is taking the show off its platform as it's become the latest media company to take a content write-down. Again, David Zaslav effect. Grease, Rise of the Pink Ladies has been canceled after one season. Star Trek Prodigy will not be going forth with its previously announced second season. They're not even safe when they get greenlit for a second season anymore. The Game has been canceled after 2 seasons, and the Graham Norton hosted reality series Queen of the Universe has been axed after 2 seasons. All of these titles will be removed from Paramount Plus, with the studios planning to shop some of them to rival broadcasters and streamers. And then it goes on down here to explain everything. But look, here's the issue I have with this. Here's the issue. They don't want to give us physical media anymore. It's not like all of these shows have like DVDs and Blu-rays. Once they are removed from the streaming platforms, they are gone until they either get sold to another platform or the company decides to bring them back for whatever reason. This is just absolutely egregious. All it does is lead to more piracy. It leads to more piracy of this content because people get worried they're never going to be able to see these things again. So they're all going away. And it seems to me now that this is part of the what I call the David Zaslav effect. With Batgirl, when Warner Brothers Discovery, and I think when we look back, we're going to come back to this point in time historically when it comes to entertainment, and it's all going to track back to this moment when Discovery and Warner Brothers came together and David Zaslav started making really, really, really awful business decisions about HBO Max and the state of that company. We're seeing it already. I made videos on it this week. Warner Brothers is not in a good place right now. They're trying their best to make profits. The Flash movie is flip-flopping. In its second weekend, it's going to get beat out by a movie that has been in theaters for an entire month already. They're not making good money. They merged their services with Discovery and HBO Max together to try and recoup some of that. So Batgirl was the beginning of the end for a lot of these companies. The concept of a tax write-down, what that can do in terms of saving money for these already extremely rich people, has permeated culture for streaming. Now here's the issue. What we're seeing now is this content removal for a specific reason. And the reason why this is happening is these large companies do not want to pay residual checks to people that have worked on these properties. We're talking about writers, directors, actors, people that have worked on set, camera people, anybody within a union that makes money and healthcare from streaming is going to suffer when one of their shows gets removed. It is very common that contractually, and this is why the writer's strike is such a big deal, contractually, when you go into a project, you sign that paper and you go, hey, I'm going to take this amount of money up front, and then I will make the remainder of that money off of residuals. There's a lot of people that do residual check reactions where you can watch them on TikTok and other platforms where you see them open up these checks for like $5, $10, $20, and they have so many of them because they're just surviving off of the residuals, because that is the method of money making in Hollywood. So by removing this content from the streaming platforms and offering no other access to them, they are literally avoiding contractual obligations to pay unions, to pay health care for these people that worked on these properties, to pay residual checks to people that worked on these properties. It is scumbag behavior, because what it is doing is lining the pockets of the CEOs, it's lining the pockets of the board, the shareholders, anybody at the top end, and all the actual creative people that worked on these are losing money because of this. It is egregious. It is absolutely egregious. And it says here in the article from Vox, and then there's residuals. Those are like royalty payments for screenwriters. If you have a writing credit on something and the rights to air are bought by a cable network, for instance, then you get some money. If you worked a long time or worked on a long TV show or a particular popular one that runs into syndication a lot, thanks friends, then you get a check periodically for those residuals. That could be a substantial part of your income. Part of the reason that residuals were first negotiated by the WGA was the understanding that if a network is rerunning a previously created show in a particular time slot, that's taking away work and thus income from a writer who might otherwise be writing something that fills that slot. That's why that existed. But we're in the era of streaming now, so reruns aren't really a thing anymore with a lot of these properties. So you have to basically hope that your show stays on a streaming platform, so you make residual money from that as long as it's on that platform. Unless it gets removed, it becomes a tax write-down, and guess what? They don't see any of that money. The people that actually worked on that property do not see any of that money. It is gone 100%, and that is what we're seeing here. Now, these shows could get shopped around, but from a consumer standpoint, that is bad. It is bad because you know that these properties belong to like Paramount, or you know they belong to Netflix, or they belong to HBO. There is brand recognition here that gets completely overlooked because of the fact that they're like, hey, we're gonna shop it somewhere else. We're already seeing it with Warner Brothers. I talked about it this week. The video is gonna be linked here in a second. At the end of this video, you'll be able to go watch that, where I talk about the fact that they're selling music catalogs and they're making deals with Netflix. They are losing money. The streaming bubble has burst. I've been saying this since like 2017. I was saying that it's only going to be a matter of time before there's too many streaming services and these companies are not going to have enough consumers to pay for an overpriced streaming service to sustain these types of properties. This is why the Netflix era, the Hulu era was like the golden age for us, because we got all of that content under one roof. That's no longer the case, and now we're seeing the blowback from that with a lot of these companies becoming scummy and deciding to do away with these things. But that's pretty much where I'm going to wrap this video up. I know that this isn't directly affecting stuff that I normally talk about on this channel, but I'm trying to expand a little bit and talk about things that matter to me. And this matters to me because I love art. I love artists. I love creative people. And nothing makes me more angry than watching creative people get shafted by these companies, these streaming services, by these CEOs, these board of directors, these shareholders that have no idea how to make the properties that they are removing from their platform. They're just sitting behind a desk. They're not creative at all. They don't do anything in terms of that. And all the creative people who are trying to struggle to make money to try and survive are stuck picking up scraps because these companies don't care about them. They don't care about their health care. They don't care about making sure they get paid. They do not care. We already kind of knew this, but now it's 100% confirmed. So let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. Did you love any of these shows? I was actually watching 3 of these shows. The Grease prequel, Star Trek Prodigy was one of my favorite cartoons, one of my favorite Star Trek shows, and Queen of the Universe was a show I loved. I love art, I love singing, I love dancing, I love drag. So all of that was combined in that show. I love all those things. They're all gone now. They're going to be, I think you have a few days maybe to watch them before they go on. So binge them if you haven't seen them, because otherwise you're going to have to struggle to find them. That's it. I'm out of here. I'll see everybody in the next video.